His name was Vasili Arkhipov. At the height of the Cuban Missile Crisis, the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a standoff so tense that school children practiced duck and cover drills, and military commanders kept their fingers hovering over launch keys. American spy planes had discovered Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba. In response, President John F. Kennedy ordered a naval blockade. Across the ocean, Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev prepared to defend his gamble. Beneath the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, 4 Soviet submarines crept toward Cuba. One of them, the Soviet submarine B-59, carried a secret: a nuclear torpedo roughly equal in destructive power to the bomb dropped on Hiroshima, and perhaps even Nagasaki. Then the Americans found them. U.S. destroyers began dropping practice depth charges, small explosives meant to force the submarines to surface. But inside B-59, cut off from communication, the crew didn't know they were practice. The submarine was sweltering. Temperatures soared above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Carbon dioxide levels rose. Batteries were failing. For days, they had heard nothing from Moscow. To the captain, it felt like war had already begun. Protocol required agreement from 3 senior officers to launch the nuclear torpedo. The captain said yes. The political officer said yes. One more vote would send a mushroom cloud into the American fleet and almost certainly trigger full-scale nuclear retaliation. That final vote belonged to Arkhipov. He was not the captain. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't panicking. Years earlier, he had survived a reactor accident aboard another submarine, watching men die from radiation exposure. He understood exactly what nuclear escalation meant. If they fired, there would be no turning back. In that suffocating metal tube, surrounded by sweat, fear, and the drumbeat of explosions outside, Arkhipov said no. He argued. He insisted they surface and await orders. He persuaded the captain to reconsider. It was an act not of defiance, but of restraint, an almost unthinkable calm in the face of possible annihilation. The torpedo was never launched. Historians later revealed how close the world had come. Had B-59 fired, the United States would likely have responded with nuclear weapons. The Soviet Union would have retaliated. Cities would have vanished. Millions would have died in days. Millions more in the aftermath. Instead, the submarine surfaced. Diplomacy resumed. The crisis cooled. Arkhipov returned home to relative obscurity. No parades, no medals proclaiming him the man who saved humanity. For decades, his role remained classified, buried in Cold War secrecy.